Wow. Dylan Cease, 7 years, $210 million to the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, I thought the Blue Jays were always in play. I didn't think he was going to get 7 years at $30 million a year. Feels like a crazy contract. We're going to talk about everything going on in this because while it's crazy, kind of love the move by the Blue Jays. I kind of can't knock them for going out and getting their guy. Before we do get going into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Windup and you're watching this on Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. I think Canadians have a different Thanksgiving, so they're not
For sure.
celebrating. But shout out to Americans Thanksgiving and Canadians. You got a present today. You got Dylan Cease.
Shout out to Canadians in general. Pro Canada the YouTube channel here. But first reaction, this was fat. A fat
Fat.
deal. But also like cool. Like this is the kind of deal I think you make when you lose the World Series and at the end of Game 7. Like you want to go for it. You're one of the wealthiest teams in all of baseball, in the Toronto Blue Jays. Sneakily, one of the wealthiest teams in
Shout out to
baseball.
Rogers.
Shout out the Rogers. But it's an awesome deal. Like, and we know we have deferrals in this per Ken Rosenthal. We don't know what exactly those deferrals are. Even if there's no deferrals, I think it's still a very fair contract to a flawed but oddly very available and under the hood consistent pitcher.
Yeah, I will say I'm shocked. Not that he got 30 AAV, but for 7 years, because like you're worried about year 5, 6, and 7 for sure. But like the first 4 or 5 seasons of that contract, Dylan Cease probably is going to be a very good pitcher. I'm interested to see what happens when he moves to Toronto, what they can do, what tweaks they can make. You've talked about it before when we've talked about Dylan Cease about how he's really a 2 pitch pitcher, and if he could ever get a third pitch, it would really help him out a ton. Maybe the Blue Jays can help develop that over there. Saw Shane Bieber signed immediately with them in the offseason because he loved the changes and the tweaks that the Blue Jays staff were able to make to his game. So maybe this is something. Maybe the Blue Jays got a little something going on the pitching side.
I'm sure Shane Bieber's also looking around like, why did I sign a 1 year, $16 million
Yeah.
contract if Dylan Cease is catching 7 years at 30 million AAV? But that's always been the thing with Dylan Cease. And it's like, I love how we say these things like heading into these free agencies with these guys. But it's not like I'm sure it's not like he's never
Oh,
tried. Like
he's obviously tried it.
of course, if someone was like, "Hey, Dylan, here's a color
Oh,
grip," and he didn't like the color grip. The changeup was a disaster last year. One of my least favorite pitches I've ever seen throw in the history of baseball. He messes around with a sinker sometimes, like anything to give him one more wrinkle. And there's oddly upside on this deal, especially when the deferrals kick into this contract. And always have to remember when the Blue Jays signed these guys that it's a 53% max tax rate in Ontario, Canada.
wow.
And so it's you have to kind of pay through the tax to get these guys. Probably have to give an extra year. I think Tim Britton from the Athletic had Cease around 6 for 180, so 7 for 210. Just kind of like just being a team that has to go the extra mile and getting the guy who I do think was the most sought after coveted pitcher in the free agent market.
Yeah, I still go back and forth whether I truly think he's the number one pitcher available between him and Framber. I think sometimes we do get a little bit caught up in the weird shit that happened at the end of the season with Framber and Victor Caratini behind the plate. Was it Victor Caratini or was it
No, it
the
was a different catcher. It was
Cesar
another backup,
Salazar? Was that who it was?
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between them, that was bizarre. But like with Cease, I think you get the upside. You get the possibility of a guy who can win you a Cy Young award, a guy who can be an ace in even years. Which next season, 2026, even year for Dylan Cease. Last 2 of them finished second in the Cy Young and fourth in the Cy Young.
It's also just a thing for Cease. Like while there is that upside again, if there can be any kind of regulation in his command, which is still possible for a guy that's turning 31 or turning
I
30 right
think
now,
turning 30.
turning 30 by season's beginning, or just getting a third pitch where Ruben Niebla is a great pitching coach. If he couldn't get the third pitch, like maybe it'll be an uphill battle to get one. But there is a floor here that is strikeouts, velocity, and innings. That's pretty remarkable. Dylan Cease has 200 strikeouts in 5 consecutive seasons. No other pitcher in Major League Baseball has done that. Dylan Cease has a 30% strikeout rate over the last 5 years. He is, I've got the
It's got to be
leader
one
one
of
up on
like
Baseball
4.
Savant right now. In terms of qualified starting pitchers, that's 11th highest in the league. Like that is, and he does walk a few too many batters, is nearing 10%, but Dylan Cease also has made 32 starts in 5 consecutive seasons. Like that is a great floor right there that you want to give a lot of money to. We have innings, we have strikeouts, we have velocity. Like bang, 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 take my money.
I also do like the idea that last season was so bad where it's like he
Yeah.
almost has to try and get better. And even still, one of the things that you always mentioned was how what was it? He had like basically like the most wall scraping home runs in
Yeah.
baseball this year.
I think he had 6 home runs that were hit under 350 feet in
That's
Petco Park,
crazy.
which is not even an easy place to do that. And it kind of was like a really just season from hell for Dylan Cease. But even with it being a season from hell, again, he got to 170 innings. Again, all of the ERA estimators, which I don't really love looking at those ever, but like the 4.5 ERA was supported by a 3.5 FIP. So it's like you probably here bought 7 years of a guy whose ERA will average to be in the mid threes. And it's just kind of expensive to buy pitching. And when you have the strikeouts that you know you can bank on it kind of makes that worth it.
It's expensive to buy pitching. It's expensive to buy innings, especially the consistent innings that Dylan Cease has been able to give. And for the Blue Jays, being in Toronto, it's a little more expensive too. But I do respect the fact that they identified their guy in Dylan Cease. They didn't care about the qualifying offer. They didn't care how much it was going to cost, seemingly. They didn't really seem to care about the years either, giving him 7 like that.
Didn't care about anything.
No, they cared about winning. They cared about how can we win the World Series in 2026. That seems like what this move was. It's not about 2027 or 2028. Those are bonuses if they can get there, but it looks like right now they're like, how do we win next season? How do we make the most of this? It's also a little Shane Bieber insurance too if Shane Bieber leaves after next season.
It's also a little bit of Trey Savage insurance. You after the way that Trey Savage ended last season, I do think there's a lot of this guy is like next up. Like there were some people putting him on the same tier as guys like Paul Skeens, like heading in. It's
No.
like the best young pitchers in the league. I don't think it's that fair to put that kind of pressure on a pitcher that still has a lot of, I think, developing to do, even despite that amazing game 5. Right? That was game 4. Game 5, he pitched against the Dodgers.
I'd also like to see what happens too when you get a little more tape on him, a little more time to actually prepare for a Trey Savage start. He relatively was like a 2-pitch pitcher during the playoffs. Like it really was that fastball splitter. The slider was good in that last start.
That slider was the pitch that came
But
and was the one. Yeah.
that's what would be interesting though to now have more time to adjust and actually prepare for Trey Savage.
No doubt. This is also a little bit more than Shane Bieber insurance for Kevin Gausman insurance.
True.
'Cause this is the last year of his
I
contract.
forgot about that part. Yeah.
You can kind of like seamlessly fade in, especially for a team in the Blue Jays that it doesn't have the best prospect depth, especially not upper minors pitching depth. Like the Trey Savage thing was so amazing for them because they just drafted him. He bypassed every pitcher in their organization and got them and helped them.
Where's
reach
Ricky Tiedemann?
Yeah, still in the back end of some top 100 list. But there's a good tweet here from Damon98, a good member of Blue Jays Twitter. All of Dylan Cease's rank among qualified starting pitchers since the beginning of the 2021 season. 7th most innings pitched, the most strikeouts, 1,100 strikeouts
Wow.
in 5 years. Again, like I just told you guys, we maybe looking at something differently here, but I had the 10th highest strikeout rate, the 20th highest strikeout minus walk rate, and the 8th highest average fastball velocity. It's like those are the things that teams are buying. Also, a cool look behind the curtain for all of us that Major League Baseball teams couldn't give even a half of a fuck about a 4.5 ERA.
No.
Not the last thing on any team's radar actually handing out these contracts is an earned run average.
That's what's gonna be so fun to read, like the Twitter comments and the comment section. I'd like to think this channel we got baseball, we got ball knowers on this channel. We don't got ball watchers, we got ball knowers.
Ball
but
heads.
they'll still sneak their way in because it's gonna be breaking news type stuff. Well, I guess it's the morning of Thanksgiving, not breaking news anymore. But it might be some of the first content you see about this. So to all you typing down there, 30 million a year for a 4.5 ERA is absolutely crazy. Then why do teams do it? Why were teams willing to do this? Like, do you think you know more than these organizations? He might not end up being the number 1 guy, and he probably won't end up being a 4-5 guy either. But like, the idea is that what he has, the stuff that Dylan Cease could be, what you could project out with him, under the hood stuff, all looks like a front end starter, and that's what you get excited about.
At least can be a front end starter sometimes. Like when you see this big of a number, $210 million, 30 million AAV, and I had in my tweet about this, that is the 5th most money ever guaranteed to a starting pitcher and the 6th highest AAV actively for a starting pitcher in the league right now. Like those are the things that you're like, you have to be an ace. But this contract came 1 year to the day exactly of the Blake Snell contract with the Dodgers. And that was 5 years for 182 million. In some ways, these two guys are very similar, where sometimes you get the ace ceiling and sometimes you don't. But the difference is Cease is always there. Sometimes
Yes,
it could be a bit of a double-edged sword going for a guy who's always there. That was a big thing pushing Corbin Burns' market, I felt like last season. While his strikeout rate was diminishing, you're like, this is one of the most sturdy and durable starting pitchers in the league.
It's a little messed
Boom.
up to bring up Corbin Burns' name in this conversation right now just because of what happened.
I think everything should be involved here. I think there's still a win contract for them, but that was something like this guy's out there every single year. He makes 30 starts a year. That's one of the things pushing for Cease. And the big thing you want for a contract like this is making sure the guy is healthy and pitching.
Yeah.
The best indication of future health is past health, and Dylan Cease has been very healthy. But every starting pitcher can break in any given moment. You don't know when it's going to be.
There's James. He loves telling you about that. Every single time you get excited about a pitcher, he's like, he could get hurt.
Gotta tell you both.
He's like, he
Gotta
could
tell
get hurt.
you
What if he
both.
throws 25 innings this year?
It's
But
possible.
here's what I'll say too for Blue Jays fans, because Mets have had this a little bit too last year's overpay. It's insane. You gave that kind of money. That's broke boy talk. Like, leave
Oh,
those
for sure.
losers in the past. Don't even give them the time of day. That's broke boy talk. I'm sorry, is that a Baltimore Orioles fan telling me you overpaid? How about you guys spend some money on your team?
So here's a piece of trivia for you. This is from Travis Sawchik on Twitter. 4 active pitchers. I guess one technically just retired.
I
But
think I know
last
them.
season, 4 active pitchers also had 5 consecutive seasons of 200 plus strikeouts. Can you name them?
4 current pitchers had, just one more time.
4 pitchers who were active last season had a streak of 5
Okay.
consecutive seasons with at least 200 strikeouts.
Zach Wheeler.
No,
Whoa.
didn't have
Corbin
the volume.
Corbin Burns.
No, 5 seasons is a long time.
5 seasons is so long. Who could be on here? Let's
They're
go.
much more obvious than you're thinking.
Much more obvious than I'm thinking. Garrett Cole.
No,
What?
yeah,
Is it that obvious?
think about the legends.
Think about the legends of the game. Oh, they didn't do it the last 5 seasons?
They
or
didn't
they've-
do it the last 5 seasons. They're active
Oh.
and they did it in their careers.
Clayton Kershaw,
Yes.
Justin Verlander,
Yes.
Max Scherzer,
Yes.
Jacob DeGrom.
No.
One more. Charlie Morton?
No. That's a good guess. Though. Chris Sale.
Oh, okay, Chris Sale. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought you meant for the last 5 seasons.
No,
I
okay,
was like,
my-
who
my-
in
my
the
bad in
world?
explanations. Yeah, no, so those guys. But it's funny to name those guys and Dylan Cease because, of course, there's a lot of things that separate Dylan Cease from
Just
those
quite a bit,
guys. But
yeah.
being on the mound as much as Dylan Cease is cool. That's nice. The Blue Jays got that. Yeah, he raises the floor of this team a ton while also helping the ceiling.
So let's talk about the Blue Jays a little bit here, then, just as a whole. Let's take a look at that rotation because I think it is definitely much improved, obviously, adding Dylan Cease. But
Rotation's fucking sick.
rotation's pretty good now because you've got Gosman, Cease, you Savage, Bieber, and Barrios is your 5. Like,
Yeah.
Barrios is a 5 all of a sudden. Barrios is a 5, woke. Barrios is a 3, broke. Like, that's kind of the conversation.
No, for sure. And I think that there's kind of claim right now. This is the best rotation in the American League. They're actually might have-
There's a claim they're the best team in the American League.
I think they probably already were, right? I think
It was between them and what? It was them, the
the
Mariners,
Yankees.
and Yankees, and I would give it to the Blue Jays probably.
I think, and then the fourth would be the Red Sox, and all of those teams have already made some big moves this offseason. The Yankees, of course, retaining Trent Grisham. The Red Sox going out and getting Sonny Gray. The Blue Jays getting Barrios, and not Barrios, Cease. I also think the crazy thing about the Blue Jays, I don't think in any way, shape, or form signifies that they're done here.
No.
I
It'd be
don't
weird
think-
to be done.
I don't think this takes him out for Kyle Tucker. I don't think this takes him out for Edwin Diaz. Like, I think they're very much in play for
Bo
any
Bichette.
free agent. You probably get Bo Bichette, of course. Any free agent you still want them to get as a Blue Jays fan, I think it's very possible you get any of them.
They've showed the willingness to spend. Like, they just haven't gotten the guys. They haven't been able to bring them in, but they are willing to spend money. And we mentioned, is it Rogers, like, the company owns the Blue Jays? Is that right?
Yes, and they own all the cable in Canada.
Must be nice.
And I think they bought it from the company used to own all the beer in Canada. But this is,
Labatt Blue?
I believe so. Maybe that was part of the Expos thing. There's a weird story about how the Blue Jays kind of bullied the Expos out of Canada, which is kind of fascinating. But
Kind of a dog move.
this team is objectively sick and it's fun. And again, seeing this number is going to scare a lot of people. That 210. The deferrals are going to bring that down a lot. I'm assuming we end up getting like a real day value of like 6 for 180. I think that's 7 for 180. I mean, I feel like that's probably where we wind up getting down. But
$25 million a year.
yeah, which again is very palatable.
that
for a
would
guy like Dylan Cease.
If you see $25 million a year for Dylan Cease, you don't even care what the years are at that point. You're like, cool, sounds good.
No, for sure. And sadly, the Blue Jays do have to pay up for these free agents because one, you got to move to Canada,
Yep.
and two, you got to pay Canada taxes. So like, if you can put a little bit extra juice on top, and you can because your team's that rich, why not do it?
Yeah, I mean, go for it. I love teams going for it, and the Blue Jays making that move is a go for it move. We don't really care what you think the contract should be worth. We got our guy.
So now about just thinking about the rest of the pitching market this free agency.
Sure.
Does Framber Valdez beat this number?
I think it's gonna be a tie.
You think it's gonna be exactly a tie, 210 on the dot?
Or he's petty 7 for 211, or he'll
Seven.
take like an 8th year at less AAV
To get a bigger
just
number?
to get a bigger number.
Just like Lindor and Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, or 7 for 211.
Do you think that Ranger Suarez gets a 5-year deal?
Hell no.
Do you think that Tatsuya Imai gets $200 million now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because the rumors were that he was going to get 200, and Cease and him were kind of in that same ballpark of what their final number could look like. I think Imai gets 200. I don't think he goes above Cease, though.
Another thing I wanted to say: now that the Blue Jays signed someone for the qualifying offer, they can sign more guys for less.
Yeah, now it
penalties
doesn't matter. Yeah,
now they're ready to go. I think there's one more, you lose a later pick, and third guy, I think you're home free.
yeah. So might as well go balls to the
Yeah.
wall.
Yes, they can go Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz, Dylan Cease offseason.
What about you? What do you think Framber goes for?
I think Framber goes for less.
Really?
I do. I think this is the thing where we're looking at kind of the new age of how teams are going after pitching. Framber does not throw as hard. His velocity oscillated more this year than years past. He's been funny enough, like while he's been more consistent, like season to season. I think he's been less consistent inside of seasons. If you get a good season in April, you know you got a good season in September.
Fair.
You get a bad season in April, you get a bad season in September. But there's probably just something to understand, like hoping that Cease ages better because when 97 becomes 95, you're still good. And if he can spin that slider forever, he can just spin that slider forever. And maybe the knuckle curve is just a pitch that Blue Jays know they take over the top. You have those three.
Crushed though last year.
It did, but at least give him something. This guy needs anything to mix this stuff up. But I think that I don't know. I think now when it's all said and done, like this could still be my favorite starting pitching contract that's signed this offseason.
All right, it's a lot from the pitching guru, James Shiano. Anything else to say here, James, or is it about time we stop recording? I head over to your house for some Blackout Wednesday Thanksgiving activities.
Yeah, come over for the tradition Wednesday before Thanksgiving at the Chiano house.
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think about the move. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll catch you all maybe tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow for another video. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Peace out.